Hey, what's up, dudes? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Dead by Daylight video. Today, the Ringu chapter dropped on the PTB, and there's actually a fair amount of things that are changing, have changed, and are kind of lighting the community on fire. So today, I'm not going over the Ringu's power. If you want to see the Ringu's power, the King made a great video on it, breaking down the power and perks and stuff. I am going to talk about the perks for the Survivor and for, you know, the killer themselves. But if you guys want to see a breakdown of the power, the King made a great video on it, so go check out his video on it. We're mainly going to focus on the perks and some of the changes in the pack notes. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Before we get completely into it though, I would like to thank you all for watching the video. I really appreciate it. But now we can actually start talking about this. So I want to go over the killer perks and survivor perks first, and then we'll get to the patch notes. So the first killer perk we're going to talk about is Scourge Hook Floods of Rage. Okay, so at the start of the trial, up to 4 random hooks are changed into Scourge Hooks. Of course, that's how Scourge Hooks works. But when a survivor is unhooked from a Scourge Hook, all other survivors have their auras revealed for 7 seconds. Now, personally, I think this perk is useless. If you want to use the Scourge Hook perk, we already have, I can't actually remember what it's called right off the top of my head, but the one where you hook someone and the generator with the most progress blows up, and like its aura is highlighted, the survivor screams. I think personally that is the only Scourge Hook worth running at the current moment. This is basically just barbecue and chili, but you don't get any blood points for it. So in my opinion, this perk is honestly kinda useless. If you want this, just run barbecue and chili and, you know, get extra blood points while you're doing it. Maybe I'm missing something else when it comes to this perk. Maybe you guys can let me know in the comments down below if I'm just completely missing the point of this, but I don't think I am. The next perk is Call of the Brine. After damaging a generator, this perk becomes active for 60 seconds. The generator regresses at 200% of the normal regression speed, and its aura is revealed to you. Each time a survivor completes a good skill check on a generator affected by this perk, you receive a loud noise notification. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but this sounds very similar to a perk that's already in the game. It just doesn't have 200% generator regression. I want to say it's eruption, but I'm not entirely sure. I think with eruption, you might have to down someone. I'm not sure, but this perk doesn't sound very good either, in my opinion. Seeing as you have to go out of your way to kick the generator, and then yes, it, you know, regresses at 200%. I don't know, maybe it could be good, maybe we'll find some builds that it actually works with. So the last killer perk is Merciless Storm. When a generator reaches 90% progress, survivors working on the generator will be faced with continuous skill checks. If they miss or stop repairing, the generator is blocked for 20 seconds. Merciless Storm can only trigger once per generator per trial. Now, this perk sounds great at first glance, but I don't know if it's the terrible wording. Again, you guys might have to correct me in the comments down below. I don't know if it's just terrible wording on their part, but it makes it seem like this perk is only going to activate on one gen once a game. So this perk is only activating one time a game and only on one generator a game. That's terrible. The perk itself is really good. I think this could be a great killer perk, but that limit that they put on it, it happens once a game, man. That makes it useless. I would laugh if I ever went up against a killer running this perk. I will never run this perk. I mean, I'll run it to try it once, but I could be wrong. This could just be worded horribly, and it activates on one generator at a time every game, right? So like, it can only be happening on one generator at a time. If that's the case, that's great, that's fine. But if it only happens once a game, that is terrible. Let me know in the comments down below if I'm just reading this completely wrong. But now we move on to the survivor perk. Surprisingly enough, we got a survivor, and I'm actually very happy about that. But we have Parental Guidance. After stunning the killer by any means, your scratch marks, pools of blood, and grunts of pain are hidden for 10 seconds. Not the best perk in the world in my opinion, but definitely you could get some use out of this perk. It's not terrible. And then we have Empathetic Connection. Whenever another survivor is injured, they can see your aura within a range of 96 meters. You heal other survivors 10% faster. I mean, kind of just Bond, isn't it? I think this might have a longer range, but it just kind of makes me think of Bond. It's kind of like a mix of Bond and like botany knowledge, I think. I could be completely wrong there, but it sounds very familiar to those two perks. And while yes, that if you were the type of person to run Bond and botany knowledge, then you could just run this one perk and, you know, it frees up an extra perk slot. So again, if you're the type of player to run those perks, this is great. And then we move on to, oh god, the one that gets me. Press and hold the ability button near a dull totem or a hex totem to bless it and create a boon totem. Soft chimes ring out in a 24-meter range. Any survivor within the boon totem's range gains a 2% haste status effect. This effect lingers for 4 seconds after leaving the boon totem's range. You can only bless one totem at a time, all boons, yeah. So here's the thing, can like this perk just let you just like point at a totem at a certain range and you just make it without actually being on it? So like you could get a cheeky hiding spot like away from a totem and then just like automatically create a boon. That's crazy. And then we all called this happening when it comes to boon totems. Now survivors within the range of the boon totem gain a 2% haste status effect, so they move quicker. They run quicker. They run loops quicker. And this effect lingers for 4 seconds after leaving the boon's totem range. So, I mean, that's busted. I'm pretty sure they just made some infinite loops. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that just created a few infinite loops. I guess we'll see. But, I mean, it's not surprising at this point. The devs, I love Dead by Daylight. I love the devs, but damn, man, they take 1 step forward, they take 2 backwards, making, like, really good balanced perks and, like, rebalancing perks to make them really, really good. And then they create this shit. Like, what? But now we move on to the patch notes. And it doesn't have, there's not a whole lot here, but there is, like, one very important thing that we need to talk about. There's an added option to lock viewport aspect ratio to 16:9. It's decent. Added new custom SFX intros to all maps. It's really, really, really cool. There are now form and support links to redirect based on your selected language when applicable. That's nice. We got the new survivor, the new killer. Cool. New perks. We come all the way down to the bottom, and it says fixed an issue that allows players to play the game with stretched resolution to gain an unfair advantage. Holy shit. That's really all that can be said. Holy shit. There was a lot of people in the community, myself included, that thought that this was never going to get fixed. I know there's a lot of survivors out there, and even a lot of killers, mainly Blight players, yes, I'm calling you Blight players out, who ran stretch res, and it does give a slight advantage. Now, granted, it's not going to automatically win you a game, you still have to be good, but if you do know how to utilize stretched resolution, then you had an advantage looking over loops to see the killers, or using the FOV as a blight to actually be able to maneuver yourself a little bit better. You just have a lot more information. It's not going to help you maneuver better, you just have a lot more information for what you're doing while playing blight. And that's the same with survivor. It's not going to automatically make you loop better, but you have a lot more information while looping. And that is, you know, unfair. It's just like plain and simple. So, it's finally been fixed, and there are so many people that use stretch res on PC. I mean, there's countless. I never have, but I do have a tendency to use some, like, filters through NVIDIA, and, you know, people call that cheating. I disagree, but I can see where they're coming from. I hope that gets fixed. But, yeah, stretch res is gone, the community's on fire, you hate to see it, you love to see it. It is what it is. I'm glad they fixed it, because that is going into the game files and like changing things on an always online multiplayer game, asymmetrical game. So you shouldn't be able to do that. You shouldn't be able to adjust your game files in an always online multiplayer game. That's just how it is, you know. Shouldn't be able to. So it's fixed. That's cool. I'm glad they did that. I wonder how they fixed it, whether they just like made you not able to like access the game's files, or if they're going to be like banning people who like try to do it now. It's very, very, very curious. Another very interesting thing in known issues is the nurse is disabled due to a bug. So the nurse, you just can't play the nurse during this PTB. You just can't. The brand new part add-on triggers the Merciless Storm skill checks. That's funny. And there's a few others. But either way, I think this is a really good chapter. In my honest opinion. Even in the patch notes, there's like not a whole lot, but that one big change is like enough to be like, okay, good job. And when it comes to the killer and the survivor, I don't like the killer perks at all. Survivor perks are actually decent. but the killer themselves seems really fun. So I will take a good killer with bad perks over a bad killer with good perks any day of the week. I can put good perks on a good killer. I can't put good perks on a bad killer and have fun, you know, so I'm very excited. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. I'll probably be streaming sometime later today. I'm not entirely sure when. I'll be on twitch.tv/TootenTV, so come check me out over there. But that's going to do it for me, Dukes. Thank you all so much for watching. I've been your host. My name is Tooten. I'll see you, Dukes, next time. Peace out.